All right. Thank you everyone for being here tonight. Today is Wednesday, July 30th of 2025, and this is our monthly Q&A where I host these free informational nights where people are able to come and ask whatever questions that they have about homeschooling, unschooling, world schooling, peaceful world schoolers, PAX Academy, whatever is on your heart, feel free to ask. And the reason why I do these every month is because when I first started out unschooling 6 years ago now, I didn't have anyone to talk to, and it would have helped me so much if I could have had someone that I could share my ideas with or share my fears with, my thoughts, my worries, my concerns, my questions. And so, yeah, so I love to be able to be the support that I wish I would have had so many years ago. So this really is just like an informal time. I wanted to be able to take any questions that you have. We're a smaller group tonight, so if you'd like, you're welcome to either unmute yourself and ask your questions, or if you feel more comfortable, you can just type your questions in the chat and I will make sure that I get to each one. So is there anyone who would like to kick us off? And actually, I have a question. I would love to know if you can comment in the chat and let me know what state you guys live in and if you have already started unschooling or if kind of where you are in that process. If you already started unschooling, if you've been unschooling for a long time, still thinking about it.
Can we let you know? That's it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yay. Got Maryland folks here. Awesome. Yay. Oh, I love it. It's Maryland's in the house tonight. Awesome. All right. Ashley said, in Maryland hasn't started yet. Okay, great. Oh, I love that you're preparing and starting to think about it. Awesome. All right. It looks like everyone so far in the chat said they're from Maryland. That's pretty cool. So I'm from Maryland as well, and I live in Silver Spring. I have been unschooling my kids. My oldest still is 11, and my son is going to be 7 in 2 weeks. And we have been unschooling basically the entire time, with the exception of a couple months that my daughter attended a public pre-K for a couple hours. But yeah, if you have any questions, like I said, feel free to drop your questions in the chat, or you can just unmute yourself and ask away. All right, I see Rhonda said, I would like to know the difference between PAX Academy and the other group. Great question. So most people are familiar with Peaceful World Schoolers. And so Peaceful World Schoolers is our homeschool umbrella for families that live in Maryland. Um, Rhonda, are you already homeschooling in Maryland? Yes, under another. Okay. Great. So you're familiar with Maryland law. So basically, when you homeschool in Maryland, you can either do the portfolio option under the county or you can do an umbrella option. And I started Peaceful World Schoolers because I wanted to be able to provide an opportunity for families to educate their children with the most freedom, flexibility, and fun as possible. And so within Peaceful World Schoolers, we are what's known as an unschool-friendly umbrella. And so we do not require you to keep or maintain a portfolio unless that kind of thing brings you joy, then by all means go for it. You can keep the portfolio. But for us, we only require the bare minimum that the state requires. And so the state of Maryland requires that we do an annual review once per year. We give you three different ways that you can choose to do the annual.
But I
The
do
first way,
think we do have to be.
Sorry. The first way that we do the annual review is our most popular option, and that is via a group Zoom. So the group Zoom is very similar to this. We're going to get onto a Zoom together, and we do this usually during the first week of April. And we meet via Zoom, we break out into breakout rooms, and we talk about our homeschool year together. It's a really awesome time to connect with other people that are in your area and to just reflect on how your year has been. We try to celebrate the things that have gone awesome throughout our year. We also talk about any challenges that we may have encountered throughout the year, and then also any kind of questions or concerns or changes that we want to make going forward. We also talk about that at that point. The second option that we have for the review is that you could do what's called a peer review. So in an ideal scenario, you'd have other friends or family members that are also a part of our umbrella. And so you could do your review with them, and then you would sign off and say, hey, I reviewed with this person. Everything looks great. And then the third option, if you can't do either the group Zoom or the peer review, then you could do the last option, which is an individual review with someone from our leadership team. And that is a 15-minute phone call with me or someone else. And that's it. But all of our options are meant to be zero stress for you. We want to really have this be an opportunity for you to reflect on what you've done and to reimagine what you want the future with your children to look like. So yeah, no stress, no anxiety, nothing like that. Peaceful World Schoolers, we started out doing like the weekly field trips and events. And over the years, over the last, so we 2 years ago, since we started that, this last year we had all of our county coordinators for the first time, which was really cool. So we had some field trips happening in like different areas. And then starting this year, we're actually going to be having coordinators in some other states and a couple other countries as well. So Peaceful World Schoolers is kind of expanding beyond just a Maryland umbrella, and we're becoming actually an international organization officially this year, where we're doing weekly field trips and events and giving families the opportunity to kind of get out of the house and experience these real life, real world learning experiences. You do not have to be enrolled in our umbrella to participate in our field trips, but as our group is going, or as our group is growing, the people who are enrolled in the umbrella will have priority and field trips. And there are some field available for umbrella members. Is something totally couple other states as a private school. And so because it is a private school, one of the primary differences between Peaceful World Schoolers and PAX Academy is that when you are enrolled in Peaceful World Schoolers, you're legally considered a homeschooler. So you fill out the notice of intent to homeschool form. You're considered a homeschooler for all intents and purposes, which means that as a homeschooler, you, as the parent, are in charge of the school that is in your home, right? So legally, umbrellas are technically not supposed to issue transcripts and diplomas because they're not schools. And I know a lot of umbrellas say that they do that, but there have been instances where colleges and universities have not accepted umbrellas issued diplomas and transcripts and stuff because technically if they're a homeschooler, then the parent is the one who's supposed to issue the transcripts and the diplomas and all those other things. Whereas when you're enrolled in PAX Academy, you're actually considered enrolled in a private school. And so your students are considered private school students. And that means that you, as the parent, are considered a teacher with a private school. And so therefore, you have access to, like, I mean, if any company that has teacher discounts available, you can qualify for those discounts. My family and I, a couple months ago, we did a week-long cruise to Mexico, and that cruise was entirely with my PAX Academy discount. My laptop broke down. I had to get a new laptop. I used my PAX Academy teacher discount, and I saved $300 on my laptop. We did a road trip in Colorado, and we were able to save over $200 on our car rental through my PAX Academy teacher discount. So PAX Academy costs more upfront, but if you're doing it right, you should be saving money through PAX Academy. And in addition to that, because we're a private school, we issue the diplomas, we issue transcripts, we issue all of like the report cards and all the legal paperwork stuff. We handle all of that. And we also have partnerships with colleges and universities. So students that are enrolled in PAX Academy can actually qualify for dual enrollment, which means that they can earn college credit and high school credit at the same time. But as far as like your day-to-day experience is going to be pretty much the same. So whether you choose Peaceful World Schoolers or PAX Academy, you are still completely in charge of your child's education. We're completely free to use what require you of curriculum. You are welcome to, if you want to, but a lot of our curriculum totally fine. Right? Did that answer your question? And I see Lauren commented in the chat here. Yes, Lauren is our field trip coordinator for Anne Arundel County. So if you do not know Lauren yet, you definitely will. She has some really amazing stuff planned for the people that live in Anne Arundel. So make sure that you get connected with her. Lauren, can you share the WhatsApp group link too in the chat so people that are in here, if they're in Anne Arundel, they can join your group? Awesome, thank you. All right. Okay, someone said, does PAX Academy provide a curriculum or recommended resources, or is it fully self-directed? So Both. We are fully self-directed, but we do provide resources and we also provide curriculum if you'd like to. So for example, there's plenty of curriculum as well that's available for free. Like Khan Academy is a free curriculum that's available that anyone is welcome to use. We do offer a 60% discount on IXL, which is the most popular curriculum right now in the world. So if you'd like to use IXL, you get a 60% discount on that. And we actually also paid for the Spanish version for free. So you'll have all of the 4 core classes, curriculum from all the grades K through 12. You can pick any grade within K through 12 to use with your kids. So if you have, your child is maybe in 5th grade, but maybe they're reading on like a 3rd grade level and you want to work with them on 3rd grade stuff, you can do that. And maybe their math is 5th grade, so you could do 5th grade for math and 3rd grade for reading or however you want to make it work. And then there's also Spanish that's included in that as well. It also includes a course that I design where I actually teach you as the parent how to unschool from kindergarten through 12th grade. And you're welcome to use also resources outside of us. I'm trying to think. ABC Mouse is also included for free within PAX Academy. Starfall is included for free in PAX Academy. There's a reading and typing program that I designed within PAX Academy. I highly recommend even the parents, please take that course. Yeah, there are a lot of parents that have never learned how to like type properly, but that course is really cool because it teaches them how to type through phonics and spelling patterns. That is included for free through PAX Academy. Canva, I don't know if you're familiar with that. Canva is a professional graphic design software that is also included for free within PAX Academy. Trying to think. Yeah, so and there's hundreds of other resources that are in there. Some of them are free, some of them are discounted, some of them are paid, but just like recommended, like, hey, you can check this out. But yeah, there's tons of stuff that's available, but at the same time, you are still fully self-directed. You're welcome to use or not use whatever you want. There's nothing that is required that says like, hey, you're enrolled in PAX, you have to follow this curriculum or you have to, do this subject and take this test or whatever. We really do want to help you customize your child's education so it's unique to them. All right, I see Leah. Hi, Leah. Oh, I think you commented something else.
Can you hear me?
Yes, hi, Leah.
Hi, my name is Robin Williams, and I think I did this all backwards. I know my daughter's on board. Her name is Leah, but I didn't know if I was showing up. I'm just here to listen to. My name is Robin Williams, and that's all. I didn't know if you could hear me or if I was in the right spot.
Oh,
That's
no
all.
worries. Great.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here, Robin. Have you already enrolled in Peaceful World Schoolers or PAX?
No, my daughter Leah is the one that's enrolled in the PAX umbrella, and she's been sending me information so I could join the sessions. And I for the August 7th session, I did have to register for that, but for this one, it didn't ask me to, and I came up under her name, I see. So I don't know. I'm confused.
She probably signed up for it. That's
Yeah,
fine.
she's probably here. I don't
On
know.
top of it. Yeah, the
Okay.
August 7th session. So for those of you who are not clear, so our school year actually starts on August 1st. So 2 more days until we officially launch the 25-26 school year. And then during the first week of August, we do what's called a not back to school night. So most schools are celebrating that they're going back to school, but for us, we celebrate that we are not going back to school. And then so on Tuesdays, I meet with the elementary. Wednesday, I meet with the middle school. And then on Thursday, I meet with the high school students. And then during those meetings, we get a chance to talk about everything that you need to know to really prepare you for your year. I give all the important announcements and stuff that you should know. And then I'm able to take any questions that you guys may have to really kind of kick off the year strong. So yeah, so if you want to participate in those meetings, you want to make sure that you enroll in PAX Academy before August 1st so that you can get all the links and everything so that you can register for those meetings. But yeah, so thank you. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if you already explained it, but can you explain the difference again between PAX Academy and Peaceful World?
Peaceful World Schoolers, yes.
Right.
So Peaceful World Schoolers is a homeschool umbrella for Maryland families. And so if you live in the state of Maryland, then you can enroll in the Peaceful World Schoolers umbrella. When you do that, it costs $100 per family per year. You enroll with us, you pay the fee, and you never have to deal with the county again. You don't have to keep a portfolio. You don't have to do any kind of stressful portfolio reviews, none of that stuff. You can enjoy your life with your kids, and we only require the bare minimum that the state requires, and that is that that you do an annual review with us once per year. We usually do that via Zoom in the first week of April. And that's it. So you do the annual review with us during the first week of April, and then you complete your renewal, and that's pretty much it. We also host weekly field trips and events every week all over Maryland. And this year we're actually expanding into other states and a couple other countries. So some people are now hearing about Peaceful World Schoolers and they're participating in the field trip aspect of it, but you do not have to be enrolled in the umbrella to participate in the field trips. So field trips are open to anybody, but if you are in the umbrella, you will get priority on our field trips because a lot of our field trips do fill up fast. The other organization is PAX Academy. And so PAX Academy is registered as a private school, which means that when your students enroll in PAX Academy, they're legally considered private school students. And because it is a private school, we can accept students from all 50 states and almost every country in the world. And because we're a private school, we also issue transcripts and diplomas. We operate just like any other school would operate, in the sense that we handle all of that legal paperwork. And we provide that legal covering for you for being enrolled in a private school. So you can literally homeschool from anywhere in the world and your children are still earning a diploma from a high school in the United States. And because it is a private school, you're able to get like hundreds of additional resources, as well as take advantage of a bunch of exclusive discounts that are not available to families that are just in the umbrella. So because it's a private school, your students are enrolled with us, but that means that you are considered a teacher with a private school. And so you can actually get any company that offers teacher discounts on something, you can take advantage of those teacher discounts. So you can actually like a teacher ID badge. I've used my teacher ID badge. I was sharing with them, we went on a cruise for free. That saved us like $2,000. We've gotten discounts on car rentals. My daughter loves art, so we get discounts at Michael's. We've gotten discounts at the movie theater, at car rentals, at Disney World. Yeah, all different kinds of things. We get Canva for free. We have access to a bunch of different like apps for free. ABC Mouse is free. So all kinds of stuff is free because you're a teacher with a private school. And then we also have partnerships with colleges and universities. So if your children are interested in earning college credit early, they can actually start taking college credit through us beginning in 6th grade.
Just a follow-up question. So I am in Howard County, Maryland, and it's possible to do both, right? The sign up for both umbrella.
No, so they're two separate organizations. So either you would enroll in PAX Academy as a private school student, or you would enroll in Peaceful World Schoolers as a homeschooler. Now there are some families who kind of split it up. So like there's some families that they're like, okay, I've got 5 kids and I don't want to pay $1,200 for PAX Academy right now. So they'll say, you know what, I'm going to enroll my high school students in PAX Academy, but my elementary kids, we're going to have them be in the umbrella until they get older, and then we'll switch them over. But then there are other families that are like, nope, we're going to do PAX Academy the whole way through. And then there are other families that are like, nope, we'll just do it ourselves through the umbrella the whole way. And that's fine as well. My personal recommendation is that you would definitely make the switch to PAX Academy when they get to be in middle school or high school. Because that is when the transcript piece becomes a lot more important. When you present a transcript from a private school as opposed to a homeschool transcript or diploma, it just makes the process a whole lot easier for them because they're already, like the colleges are already kind of counting on us to have done our due diligence to make sure that what's on the transcript is real and legitimate. Whereas like when they're kind of applying as a homeschooler and then going to college, a lot of times colleges will be like, hey, your mom said you got an A in Algebra 2. How'd you do that? Kind of a thing. So sometimes the colleges will make them kind of provide more documentation and kind of jump through some extra hoops. And whereas when they're presenting a diploma or a transcript from a private school, they don't do that. So yeah.
Got it. Thank you so much. And then just another quick follow-up would you guys follow the Maryland rule in terms of because my daughter, her birthday falls on September 18th. So if when it's time for her to enroll into middle school and we do the PAX Academy, would you guys follow that September 1st rule, or how does that go?
So it really does depend on you and kind of what your plans are. A lot of our students do want to like graduate early. And as they get older, it's a little bit easier to kind of make those switches and have that work out so that they can graduate early. One of the best ways to do that is by actually having them take high school classes when they're in middle school. So there are a couple high school classes that they can take when they're in middle school that will count towards their high school diploma. Those classes are Algebra 1, Geometry, biology, also like high school biology counts, and then any of the languages will also transfer. So if your child speaks another language or if they've done Algebra 1, it doesn't matter when they do it. If they do it in 6th grade, we can count that towards their high school diploma. So what a lot of middle schoolers do, especially if they're like kind of right on the cusp where it's like, I could be like I'm just because my birth date was late, now I have to be a whole year behind kind of a thing. You don't have to do that. So if they want to kind of skip ahead, the easiest way to make that happen is through taking like those higher level high school classes while they're in middle school.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And another thing that she can do
Hola, Ángela.
well, oh, sorry. Yes.
Hola Ángela, ¿cómo estás? Soy Violeta Sánchez.
Hi, Violeta. How are you?
Hola, good. ¿Y tú? Muy bien, ¿y tú?
Yes, fine.
Ah, qué bueno. No podía conectarme, pero ya gracias a Dios al fin pude conectarme. Te quería
That's
hacer
fine.
algunas preguntas, para la inscripción de las vacunas aquí en el estado de Mississippi. ¿Ocupo llenar los documentos que me mandaste solamente o necesito llevarlos al doctor, con un notario o otra cosa más?
Pues las leyes en cada estado son diferentes. La reunión de hoy es para personas que hablan inglés. Entonces, quiero tratar de mantener esta reunión para las personas que hablan inglés.
Ay, perdón, es que, no sabía, es como me mandaste el enlace y me mandaste un correo, perdóname, pensé que era para
No hay
todos.
ningún problema. Sí, esta reunión, el último miércoles del mes es para tener la reunión en inglés y cada segundo miércoles del mes lo hago en español. Pero si tienes
Ah, okey.
preguntas acerca de las vacunas, puedes hacer las preguntas dentro del grupo de WhatsApp, porque ahí hay bastantes mamás allá que te pueden contestar y ayudar.
Ah, okey, está bien. Y otra pregunta, para lo que me explicaste de la el transcript sobre mi hijo Christopher, que va a entrar al 9 grado.
Ujú,
Él ya estudió parte de álgebra 1 también.
ujú,
También él, la verdad, él sí sabe perfectamente el español, lo estudió muy bien, lo sabe leer y escribir.
ujú.
¿Él necesita hacer el transcript o no lo necesita hacer? Porque me mandaste un mensaje, pero no te entendí si sí o no.
Sí, deberías de crearle su boleta del grado 8 y ponerle los créditos que él ya sacó que cuentan también para high school.
Okey, pero solo boleta, no va a ser el transcript, ¿verdad? Hasta el grado 9 se hace el
El
transcript.
transcript es solamente para los que están en el grado 9 hasta el grado 12.
Sí.
Okey, está muy bien. Entonces, solamente en su boleta le pongo ya lo que sea, lo que las clases que él
Solo para
estudió,
grado
¿verdad?
8.
Solo
Ya.
para grado 8. Okey, está
Ajá.
muy bien.
Ok.
Y para
Right.
entonces, para eso y para lo otro, te hago las preguntas acá en el chat, ¿verdad? Una
Yes.
pregunta, otra más, ¿el grado de Mississippi ya está aprobado? Solamente para preguntarte.
¿Cómo?
¿Sí está aprobado en cuál grado de Mississippi? Sí, ¿verdad?
Pero no entendí tu pregunta. ¿Sí que
Oh,
está aprobado?
sí,
¿Qué
está,
cosa?
¿cómo se dice? ¿Aprobado para el grado de Mississippi? ¿Para el estado de Mississippi o
Sí,
para
nosotros
todo?
aceptamos
Sí.
estudiantes de todos los estados.
Ah, okey, está perfecto. Listo,
Mhm.
pues muchísimas gracias,
All right.
Ángela. Cualquier cosa
You're
estamos
welcome.
acá. Okey,
Okay,
bye.
sorry about that. Okay, so just so you'll know too, I do an informational session like this in Spanish on the second Wednesday of the month. And yeah, so on the last Wednesday of the month, we do it in English, on the second Wednesday in Spanish. So if anyone would like to join for the Spanish session, you're more than welcome as well. All right, I see Sarah said, can you join PAX later in schooling? We were thinking of starting in middle school or high school. Absolutely. There are a lot of families that do that they, homeschool under the umbrella until they get to middle school or high school, and then they make the switch. It is entirely up to you. One thing I would try to avoid doing though is you want to try to avoid moving around a lot when they get to high school. Yeah, so if you can try to make decisions before they start high school, that would be really, really great. All right. Rhonda said, what records will we need to keep and provide when it comes times for the transcripts? Okay. So when it comes times for us to create the transcript, so if you're in the umbrella, then you as the parent are responsible to create the transcript on your own. You can download a transcript, you can make it on your computer, you can, HSLDA actually has like sample transcripts. So if you're a member of HSLDA, you can use their templates, which are great. Or if you like, you can book a one-on-one consultation with me and I would be happy to help you. within PAX Academy, kind of touching on Becky's question, so because PAX Academy is a private school, they're considered enrolled in a private school, which means that we do not have to do an annual review because they're not homeschoolers. They are private school students. So that being said, the requirements that we have for our families that are in PAX Academy is that if you would like for us to issue your child a transcript and a diploma, then you do have to report to us the names of the courses that your children have done over that year and the grades that you would like to assign them. Now, a lot of our families do not believe in grades, so we do not require you to submit grades. If you don't want to do grades, that is completely fine. You do not have to do grades. But like I said, if you would like for us to issue them a transcript, obviously we can't make a transcript without courses and grades. So yeah, so you have to report something. This last year, I'm trying to think. So this last year we had what's called a college and career consultation, where basically it was a one-on-one meeting with me where I would kind of walk you through, the credits that they have. We'd take a look at their transcript and see, okay, this is what you've got so far. This is what you're still missing. We talk about transitioning to college, how they can apply for scholarships, how they can start applying for college, and just different resources that are available to the high school students in particular. However, this last year, that meeting was optional. And what I learned from doing that is that there were a lot of people that didn't meet with me until the end of the school year. So in like May or June. And by the time that they met with me or like were submitting grades for stuff, they would submit stuff that was totally not correct. And so that became a little bit problematic. So just to give you an example, so we had a mom our family that was enrolled with us, her son had failed all of his classes for 9th grade. But then when he was in 10th grade, she reported to us, she was enrolled with us for 10th grade. The mom reported to us that her son had straight A's and that he had straight A's in calculus. And so any person who would get that, like if you're going to report and tell me that your son went from failing all of your classes, failing Algebra 1, to then being enrolled in PAX Academy, getting straight A's in calculus, which is a college level math class after failing Algebra 1, any person would be like, that probably did not happen, right? And so obviously I cannot sign my name on a transcript that says, yes, this kid got straight A's in calculus, when they didn't actually do that, because then I could get in trouble for falsifying academic records, which is a crime. So this year we're doing things a little bit differently because I'm realizing that a lot of parents, especially when they get to high school, a lot of parents need a little bit more help and support than what I had anticipated last year. And so this year we're beginning the year with the college and career consultation. So that way, at the very beginning of the year, the students are really clear about what they want to do for that year, what they want to accomplish, how they want to earn their credits. That was another thing that I noticed this last year is like I would do the meetings with them at the end of the year. And then I had a student that was like, okay, I want to start college in the fall. And they hadn't done the consultation with me, didn't read any of the information that I had on the website, didn't watch any of the video resources that I had. And he like didn't do the SAT in the college that he wanted to go to. He has to have the SAT in order to attend that college. And by the time he met with me, there were no more SATs left. And so he actually missed the opportunity to enroll in the college that he wanted to go to because he wasn't prepared, because he didn't do what he needed to do prior to that. And I was like, oh, and he said that, he was like, oh, if I would have met with you earlier, then I could have done this, and it broke my heart, because I'm like, that sucks, I don't want any teenager to look back on their year and have regrets of like, oh man, I wish that I would have known I could have done this. I had other students that were like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that I could do these dual enrollment things, or that I could test out of this, or I could have saved so much money. If I would have met with you earlier, I could have been a little bit more intentional with my time this year. So that's a big reason why we're kind of shifting things this year, that we're doing the college and career consultation up front at the beginning. So that way parents are clear, students are clear. They're not, reporting grades twice, or they're not taking credits that they don't need, things like that. So it can make sure that everyone's like really clear from the very beginning of the year. So then at that point, now after the college and career consultation is done, then the only thing that you would have to do would be to report whatever those grades are for those classes that we determine at the beginning of the year. And then, yeah, so the only reason why I would ask for like additional proof or documentation is if you have some sort of crazy outlier, like the example that I gave you. Like if you tell me that your kid failed Algebra 1 and then took calculus and got an A, I will probably want to see some documentation for that, because that's just something that's not normal or common,
Right.
you know. But if you're reporting things honestly and with integrity, like that's totally fine. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. All right, good. Yeah. And again, none of it is meant to feel like stressful or overwhelming or anything like that. Our students earn credits in a wide variety of ways. I'm really proud to be able to offer the opportunity for students to earn credits through the 3 different ways that they can earn credits through colleges, which is they can either earn credits through taking a class. A lot of our high school students do choose to take online classes. Especially if they're planning to go to college, I will probably recommend that they do that. If you want to go to college, I will tell you, please sign up and take dual enrollment classes now, because that's a great way to prove to the college in the future that you're capable of doing that level of work. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you money. And I'm like, would you rather pay $1,500 to take this class next year or pay $300 and take it now? So yeah, so if you are interested in going to college, I will probably recommend that you take some college classes at some point along the way. If they're not planning on taking college classes, then they might want to, some people prefer to learn by taking a class or an online class. My daughter right now, she's an unschooler, but she asked me if she could take an online art class. I said, sure. So for her, she wants to learn art through taking a class with a professional art teacher, and that's totally fine. And it's still unschooling. I know there are some unschoolers out there that would probably disagree with me. They'd be like, if you're using a curriculum or taking a class or have a teacher, that's not real unschooling. But not to me. I think that unschooling is self-directed education. And sometimes our children direct their learning by choosing to take formal or structured classes or have a teacher. And so, yeah, so if your child is choosing to earn their credits through taking a class, that's totally fine. The second way that they can earn their credits is through taking a test. This is another brilliant way to be able to earn college and high school credit at the same time. So rather than taking an English class for 10 months, you could literally study for 4 weeks, take the English CLEP exam, pass it, and be done with English and get college credit and high school credit like that in 90 minutes. So,
Amazing.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I just said that's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's really amazing. And for a lot of students that are great test
Amazing.
takers, it's a great opportunity for them, because it's like, okay, well, I can choose. Do I want to take a class for a whole year and do projects and tests and quizzes and listen to watch these videos and do these homework assignments? Do I want to do that for a year? Or do I want to study for a couple weeks, take the test, pass it, earn college credit and high school credit, and move on, So they can earn credits that way. And then the third way that they can earn credits, they could take a class, take a test, or they could do what we call taking your time. And that is the more kind of traditionally unschooled way, where basically anything that your children do in their real life can be converted into academic credit. So whatever it is that your children are passionate about, we can add that onto their transcript, and we can see how whatever it is that they're doing would fit into the different subject areas and count that towards their graduation requirements. All right, sorry, I'm catching up here on the chat. All right, Maricela said, how much is PAX Academy? So PAX Academy, it usually costs $400 per student. Right now we have a discount that it is only $350 per student. And we actually have a family discount going on right now that it is $600 for a family of up to 3 students. And that is $600 per year. $600 per year. So it is extremely, extremely affordable. And like I said, if you are doing it right, when you factor in all of your additional, the discounts that you'll get with your teacher ID badge and all of the other resources that are included and all of the other stuff that you get, you should be saving money from being a part of PAX Academy. Sarah said, is PAX Academy online classes, or are parents still teaching from a self-chosen curriculum? So PAX Academy is the private school for unschoolers. I like to say that we're kind of like the buffet, right? We provide you with a bunch of different resources that you're welcome to use, but you are not required to use anything. If you see something within PAX Academy that you're like, oh, this is a cool resource, I like this, and I'll try it out, awesome. If you find another resource that works for you and your kids, awesome. If you're like, I don't want to use curriculum at all, also awesome. So you have the power and the authority as the primary educator of your child to choose how you want to educate your children, using whatever resources or not using whatever resources that you choose. Rhonda said, can you point me in the right direction as far as courses? We would love to access different courses available since we've always been unschooled up until this point. Yeah, Rhonda, what grade is your child in? And what kinds of courses would your child be interested in taking? And while you're answering that, I see Abby said, I found the Worldschoolers groups on WhatsApp, but I don't believe I've seen a separate group for Harford County. So we actually don't have a separate group for Harford County. We would love to have some mom that lives in Harford that wants to start coordinating and planning field trips in that county, kind of take the lead. So if you live in Harford County and you would like to start planning field trips in that county, feel free to reach out and let me know. I'd love to meet with you and see if you'd be a good fit for being a leader with Peaceful Worldschoolers. But for right now, most of the Harford people are kind of joining in to the field trips with Cece, who is planning field trips for Baltimore. And she actually did Baltimore and Harford last year. So they're kind of one and the same. Let me see. She said, can you provide the link to register for Peaceful Worldschoolers? Yes. So within Peaceful Worldschoolers, we do send out a list of like recommended resources, but it's definitely not as much as what is included in PAX Academy, especially because a lot of the resources that are in PAX Academy, you have access to them because you're a teacher with PAX. So for example, like ABC Mouse is a paid software. I love ABC Mouse. My kids have so much fun with that software, but it's free for teachers. So you have to log in with a teacher account from a teacher, like from a school. And so, yeah, so things like that are like not able to be available to the umbrella families just because the umbrella is not a school. Let me send you our registration page. All right, so this is, oops, I've got all kinds of things open here. All right, so for those of you who are interested, this is the registration link for Peaceful Worldschoolers. Peaceful Worldschoolers costs $100 per family per year to enroll in our umbrella. Like I said, our school year starts on August 1st, so you guys are just in time to be able to enroll right before our school year starts. And then PAX Academy, I'll send you the link for PAX. Abby said, have you had success with the teacher discounts via PAX? Yes, so actually that was how I was able to get $300 off on my Mac computer because of my PAX Academy teacher discount. And yes, we also did get the discount with Target. Let me see. I saw Omar said, my daughter's already registered with Peaceful Worldschoolers. Can I switch her registration to PAX Academy? Will I get a credit for the registration fee I already paid for Peaceful Worldschoolers? So yes, if you are currently enrolled in Peaceful Worldschoolers and you want to make the switch to PAX Academy, if you switch before August 1st, so basically by tomorrow, if you switch by tomorrow, then we will refund you what you paid for Peaceful Worldschoolers, and then you're able to do the enrollment as a new student with PAX Academy. If you do not register in PAX Academy before August 1st, then you would just be out the $100 from the Peaceful Worldschoolers. But yes, if you can enroll in PAX Academy before August 1st, then we will refund you what you paid for the umbrella. Oh, someone said, I saw a subgroup. Yes, so we do have a subgroup for Harford County just because we wanted people to be able to find each other a little bit easier. So we have the subgroup, but we just don't have someone who's coordinating field trips in that group yet. We don't have an official community coordinator yet for Harford County. Someone said, can you upgrade from the umbrella to PAX? Yes, I just answered that. Yep. Can we sign up tomorrow, the latest before midnight tonight? So if you can sign up tomorrow before midnight, then yes, you can get a refund on Peaceful Worldschoolers. So you just would have to enroll in PAX Academy before tomorrow at midnight, and then we can process the refund for Peaceful Worldschoolers. Also, PAX Academy, like I said, both of the organizations are relatively new. So this is something like I'm really excited that you guys are getting in kind of on the ground floor of everything, which is great. We are in the process right now of also designing custom software, which means that the things that you want and need and that you want to see within PAX Academy, we are able to kind of custom create that for you. And so that's something that I'm excited to start kind of releasing those updates over the course of this next year. But please know, as we are growing, there are definitely growing pains. And so it's something that I'm I'm looking forward to kind of sharing with you all as we do have the custom software that will help make things a little bit easier and a little bit more smooth for you guys. So that is coming this year. Lauren said, can you tell me the name of the Unschooling podcast that you've mentioned in the past? Yes. So when I first started Unschooling 6 years ago, the podcast that saved my life was called Exploring Unschooling. And I can see if I can send it to you. The Exploring Unschooling podcast is a podcast by a woman named Pamela Rickia, and she has actually been unschooling longer than I've been alive. And so every week she would interview another unschooling family or sometimes interview grown unschoolers. And her podcast was phenomenal. It just, every time I would listen to her podcast, it just solidified in my soul what I know to be true, that children absolutely learn incredibly well when they have freedom and flexibility. Sharon said, is Peaceful Worldschoolers available in Florida as well? So they both are. So PAX Academy is actually registered in Florida as an approved umbrella school for families in the state of Florida. So if you enroll in PAX Academy and you live in Florida, then you don't have to do any of the homeschooling stuff. You don't have to do any of the testing. You don't have to do the evaluations. You don't have to keep a portfolio. You don't have to report to the county. You don't have to do any of that stuff, which is awesome. And we also have a homeschooling mom who is a part of PAX Academy who is going to be leading field trips in Florida as well. So if you would like to see the field trips that we have going on in your area, let me see if I can pull it up for you so you can see. All right, sorry. I'm going to share my screen real quick so you guys can see what I'm looking at here. Okay, don't laugh at my million tabs because this is literally how my brain works with a million tabs. Okay, so when you go to peacefulworldschoolers.com, you'll see this option here. You can either start a group or join a group. And so this is for the local weekly field trip groups. When you click on here, it takes you to this lovely map. And so you can pick your state, all right? The states that are in this pinkish color are the ones that we don't have a leader for yet, but the ones that have the lime green color, which is our signature color, are ones that we do have a group in. So we have groups in Florida and Georgia, so you can click on the Florida group. And then we are still in the process of updating our website here, but you've got the Florida group here. This is the team members that we have. So these are the PAX Academy moms. They are PAX Academy teachers with PAX Academy, and they are planning field trips and events in all of these different areas here. So this is kind of our map of the Florida region. And then here's the link to the Peaceful Worldschoolers of Florida Facebook group, so you can join that. And then if you come down here, you'll be able to see the events. So we're actually launching, we start our events in the school year every September. We kick off our field trips every year with what we call a not back to school party. Sometimes it's a picnic, sometimes it's a potluck. So you can see here, they're going to do, in Florida, they're doing their not back to school potluck here on August 28th. So you can register for that, or I'm sorry, this is the RSVP date. And they're actually going to do the potluck on September 4th. So yeah, we start it in the first week of September, and you can see they've got a bunch of different events that are here happening. I know a lot of you are from Maryland. Yes, baby. Okay. Okay. It's okay. All right. So for the people that live in Maryland, so this is kind of how we break down. Hold on one second. Do you still feel like you need to go? Okay. All right, great. It's okay. All right, so this is our Maryland team. Of course, our Maryland team is larger. There's a lot of us here just because we've been around a little bit longer. We have an absolutely amazing team. So this is Lauren. Lauren's here with us tonight. So if you see, this is Lauren. So if you live in Anne Arundel County, you can see below, we've got these different icons here for the coordinators. So every coordinator actually has their own Google Calendar, which is really cool. So for example, Lauren's calendar is here. So if you click on that little Google Calendar button, you'll be able to see her calendar. And let me go forward here. So here you can see she's got these RSVP dates for you. This is really, really important to pay attention to. There are some events that we actually have to RSVP for. I've had events that we had to RSVP for like 2 months in advance. So it's really important that you can be checking the calendar and paying attention to the RSVP dates so that you don't miss out on any of the fun stuff that we've got going on. And then you can click on the event and you can see she's got all the details here for you. So if you are in her area and you want to go to their not back to school picnic, you can just click here. She's she's got the Sign Up Genius link for you so you can sign up for that. Yes, this one also, she's going to a park or playground, pretty cool, all kinds of fun stuff. So you can sign up for that one as well. And then the cool thing that I love about this is that actually, hold on, I don't know if you guys can see this. So at the very bottom here, there's a spot where it says add to Google Calendar. And so if you click add to Google Calendar, what this will do is it will actually add our calendar here onto your personal calendar on your phone, which is such a huge game changer. I don't know if any of you use your calendar on your phone. I talked to Mom the other day and she was like, no, I never use a calendar. I was like, how do you live? I like live by my calendar. So yeah, I'm like, if it is not in my calendar, it does not exist for me. I don't know what's happening. So having this option here with the Google Calendars is so helpful because this will give you the opportunity that when you pull open your calendar, you can see what's happening in that region and you can actually subscribe to any of the calendars from any of the regions. So maybe you might be like, you know, Lauren's got some fun stuff happening here, but I'm also kind of close to Baltimore. We hang out there a lot. So we're going to join CC's calendar and we'll add that stuff. Or, you know, might say, okay, Diana's got all kinds of fun things going on down south. So we're going to be a part of her calendar. Or you could be like me and literally subscribe to all the calendars because I do not mind a drive and I am more than happy to drive to go do some of the cool stuff that you have. I will say I do have a little bit of FOMO though when I see all the cool stuff that they have happening on the calendar. I'm like, dang it, I can't go to that. But they have literally the best field trips in the entire state. Are due to these women, and all of them are moms. They're all homeschooling moms. A lot of them are also unschooling moms. So in addition to planning incredible events for you and for your kids, they also are there to be able to just walk alongside you because truthfully, like none of us were meant to do this life alone. None of us were meant to do this by ourselves. And actually, while we're talking about that too, one of the other things that we're going to be launching this year as well is we're starting a care swap this year. That's going to be something that's new. So if you're interested in that, some of the other moms and I were talking about just the fact that as moms, sometimes we need a break. Like I'm a single mom, so of course I have to work. And so we're actually doing a care swap where anyone who wants to participate in the swap, if you want to participate in the swap, you do have to be a member of either Peaceful Worldschoolers or PAX Academy. And you do have to pay $10 to have a background check done. But besides that, you're welcome to participate. So basically how that will work is that families that want to participate, one person will host. You host once a month for a minimum of 4 hours. And basically other moms can come and they can either drop off their kids with you, or they're welcome to kind of stay and co-work. If they want to stay and hang out, they're welcome to stay as well. And yeah, so it's an awesome opportunity for you to either like, if you want to drop off your kids and go run errands or go get a massage or go out on a date night or buy your groceries in peace or sit down at Starbucks and have a cup of coffee and read a book without, you know, all the crazy chatter that sometimes we are hearing all the time with kids. And you could take advantage of that. Or if you want to come and sit and hang out and you can like work together and, you know, build relationships, start having friendships, watch your kids, give your kids the opportunity to play with other kids in a safe space with other people that share our values. And yeah, so that's another really awesome opportunity as well. If you're interested in doing the care swap, feel free to let me know. I will be happy to send you guys the link. So we're asking if you are interested in that to please register for that before August 1st, because we're going to start getting out the calendar and the care swap will actually start in September. So basically you offer to host once a month and then you have access to free childcare at any of the other people who are hosting. So yeah, it's a really, really awesome opportunity to have free childcare, build relationships, have some friends, get some work done, have some time to yourself, and build the community that we all so desperately need. Let me see. Okay. Can PAX still participate in Worldschoolers trips? So yes, so actually, technically speaking, all of the field trips that we do are actually done through PAX Academy. So the people who are volunteering as coordinators, they actually get a full scholarship in PAX Academy. And the reason for that is because when you plan field trips as a private school, we get additional discounts that we wouldn't get if we were just planning as a regular group or even as a homeschool group. And so, yeah, so we actually plan all of our field trips as PAX Academy, planning the field trips. Peaceful Worldschoolers is like the public name, I guess you could say. But all of our field trips are technically PAX Academy field trips that are planned by PAX Academy teachers, by PAX Academy parents, as like on behalf of the school. And that's how you can have these awesome deals and discounts on our field trips, because we're able to do them as a school. So like, for example, one of our biggest field trips last year was to the Maryland Science Museum. If you were to like organize a group and go to the Science Museum, you'd have to pay for that. But because we organized that field trip as a PAX Academy field trip, families were able to go and participate in that field trip for free, which was awesome. We had like over 100 families that were participating in that field trip. It was huge and amazing and so much fun. Okay. If you enroll in PAX Academy, do you have to be enrolled on August 1st? So when you enroll in PAX Academy, you do not have to be enrolled by August 1st. We do have year-round open enrollment for both organizations. So if you can't enroll in PAX Academy right now and you want to enroll, later, you can. The only thing is that if you enroll after August 1st, or after the first week rather, you would miss out on those, like the not back to school night videos and meetings that we do at the very beginning of the year. I do record those videos, but I know some people really benefit from being there in person, so that way you can ask your own questions and you can hear stuff live and talk with me if there's something that you want to address. So yeah, you're welcome to do that. And then you said, who provides the badge or the teacher's identification card? So we actually do that. We have a form online where you can order your student and your teacher ID. It costs $10 to order the ID badge, and you can order for your students as well as up to two teachers for each family account. So like you and your spouse could both have your own teacher ID badge, and then you would be able to do that. And actually, let me show you. I can show you what that looks like. Sorry, give me 1 second here. I'm going to drop in the chat if you guys are interested. Here is the link for the care swap that I was talking about. And then let me show you the PAX Academy student and teacher IDs. Oh, let me share this real quick so you guys can see. All right, so this is our student and teacher ID badges. And you can see like they're like real physical ID badges, is like a credit card. And yeah, so we've got these ID badges here, and then you just fill out the form and you upload a photo. Please send like a nice kind of passport style photo. Sometimes we've gotten photos that I'm just like, I cannot put this on a teacher ID badge. So just make sure that you have like a nice clean photo so that, when we print your teacher ID badge, it looks professional and nice. Not you in a bikini, not you sipping margaritas. Please make sure that you have like a nice professional photo for your teacher ID badge. All right, that you submit that. And then, like I said, it costs $10 for the badge. You can order at any point in time. Whenever you enroll, you're welcome to do that. All right. So that is for the ID badges. And then let me see, was there another question? If you can't attend the Not Back to School night at that meeting date and time, we record it, and you're welcome to watch it back later. And we also have uploaded on our website like the recordings from all of our previous Not Back to School nights. If you want to watch all the previous ones, you can do that as well. I say, Levain said, we're going into our 3rd year of homeschooling and are required in Montgomery County to notify them of our intent to continue this year. Do we need to do that this year if we register in PAX Academy? So if you were to register in PAX Academy, then you would notify the county that your children are enrolling in a private school, and that is it. You do have to tell the county anytime you're continuing with them, or if you switch to an umbrella, or if you switch and you decide to enroll them in public school or private school. In this case, PAX Academy is a private school, so you would just tell them, hey, my kids are enrolling in this private school. Thanks, bye. That would basically be it. You wouldn't have to deal with the county again. Griselda said, we registered our 5-year-old daughter this year and we're very excited, but also feeling a little bit nervous and lost. Is there any supplies that we should get? Hey, Griselda, first and foremost, thank you so much for being a part of PAX. Are you in PAX or Peaceful Worldschoolers? Let me know. But regardless of the one that you're in, thank you for being a part of our community. And I totally understand the feeling of feeling excited, but also a little nervous and lost. I want you to know that that is very, very, very normal. And that's a big reason why we do the Not Back to School nights during that first week, because during that conversation, I literally explain everything that you need to know about how to homeschool through all of the different school subjects that there are. As an unschooler, I teach you step by step how to be an unschooler from kindergarten through 12th grade. You will, by the end of that meeting, you should have very clear for yourself of what you want to create for your year. And actually, we'll talk about how to kind of plan out your year and how you want to decide the kinds of things that you want to do with your children and what you want to create. And I want to let you know, you do not have to have it all figured out at the very beginning. And especially with someone with a 5-year-old, the most important thing that you can do with your 5-year-old is just play. And I truly do mean that. The most important thing that you can do with your kids at that age, especially in elementary school, is play with them. Children at that age learn everything that they need to know through play. And, you know, when we think about like, what is the kindergarten curriculum, right? The kindergarten curriculum is, do they know their letters? Do they know their numbers? Do they know their colors? Do they know how to count? Do they know animals and the animal sounds, right? Those are all parts of a kindergarten curriculum. And I'm sure your child probably knows some of those already, even if you haven't been in kindergarten, and even if they haven't followed any kind of curriculum, they probably know some of that already. So the same way that your daughter has learned all of those things up until this point, that's the same way that she's going to continue learning and growing as she continues out through her life. As far as any supplies that you should get, that is going to be totally dependent on what your child is interested in. So if your child is interested in art, then I would check out what are the art supplies that she's interested in, right? And provide her with whatever the supplies are that she wants. But we'll also talk about supplies that might be helpful for different things depending on what your child is interested in. There's tons of resources out there. I also have like my Amazon lists where I have like, these are our favorite supplies for science, our favorite supplies for history, our favorite supplies for learning through games and like game schooling. We do a lot of game schooling. My family and I, we love games. And so a lot of our supplies, our school supplies are games, board games, video games, card games, dice games, all kinds of games. So yeah, there's tons of supplies that you can know, but just know that you don't have to have anything special to start. You have already started. You already have everything that you need to begin. And then as you go about your year, if you realize that there's other things that you think would enhance your daughter's life and her learning experiences, then feel free to get them. And most of the supplies that you need, you can get either like for free or, you know, from the library or online or YouTube or whatever, or, you know, within the community, there's swaps and stuff. But yeah, just know you're going to be totally fine. It's going to be an awesome year. And anything that you need along the way, you can get it. You'll be fine. Let me see. I can't remember if you already said, is there an end of the year review with PAX? So because PAX is a private school, we are not required to do annual reviews. What we do ask is that if you would like for us to issue transcripts and diplomas on your behalf, then you would need to submit like the courses that your child is taking that year, and then the grades that you would like to assign them for those courses. We definitely do grades very different than like a traditional school. I think a lot of people have a lot of really like negative feelings around grades and like, oh, this is, you know, you failed this because you didn't multiply this right or whatever. We definitely do not take that approach with grades at all. For us, grades are an opportunity for self-reflection. And I actually tell parents to let the students grade themselves. And I know for a lot of people that sounds like a crazy thing. Like you'd be like, they'd just be like A's for everything. But no, it's really not like that. They are, students are very, I find that teenagers in particular, they're a lot harder on themselves than I think we would be on them. But I think it's an awesome opportunity to really just reflect and say, okay, you know, in the area of science, what have I done over this last year? How have I learned about science over this last year? Did I put forth my best effort? Did I grow? Did I learn? Did I improve? And then to be able to honestly look back on my year and to be able to reflect on that and give myself an honest self-assessment of how I'm doing in that particular area of my life. I think it's a really valuable skill for our children to begin to cultivate, of being able to honestly look at themselves, reflect on what they've done, what they haven't done, and then to be able to say, I'm satisfied with the growth that I've seen in myself in this area over this last year. Or maybe I could have given a little bit more to that, or maybe this really isn't my strongest area and that's okay. And so I'm going to give myself a C or whatever. So we definitely do take a very different approach when it comes to grades. And that's also something that we'll talk about during our non-back to school night, so people are clear. All right. See her note taker, thank you. Do you literally have to start school on August 1st if you enroll in PAX Academy? So we are a private school for unschoolers, which means that for us, there is no school to start and there's no school to finish. We believe that children, if your child is alive and they are awake, they are learning. And so learning is happening all day, every day. It's not confined to like, oh, we're starting on this day and we're ending on this day. No, learning is happening all the time. There are some families within PAX Academy that do a little bit more traditional approach. And so they might say, you know what, we're going to officially start schooling on September 1st. That's totally fine. Most of our families, I would say, are unschoolers, but we do have a lot of families that are not unschoolers that do take a more traditional approach or more formal approach, and that's fine as well. One of the reasons why we do our school year, I call it our unschool year, our unschool year starts on August 1st is because during that first week of August, I do the meetings with you guys, and a big reason for that is because of those deadlines. So for example, we are a partner with Arizona State University. And so for example, if a student wants to take dual enrollment classes through Arizona State University, then that means that they actually have a session that starts August, I want to say it's August 14th or 16th. I can't remember off the top of my head. I believe it's August 16th, but so they have a session that starts August 16th. And so if I don't do a back to school meeting with you until September, then your kids have missed that August 16th start date, if that makes sense. So we start our school year on August 1st, but you are welcome to enroll with us at any time. You are welcome to start or stop or continue your schooling at any time. Like I said, you are completely empowered to educate your child in whatever way that you believe is best. You're not on any like strict like time schedule from us, if that makes sense. Our big deadlines are we end our first semester on January 31st. So we ask families to submit grades before January 31st. And then the second semester, we end that on May 31st. So again, we ask families to submit grades before May 31st. And then our re-enrollment deadline is July 1st. So we ask people again to complete their enrollments before July 1st. And that is because our month of July is absolutely insane as we're doing all of like the processes of transitioning and kids are moving and kids are entering for the first time and leaving and moving and all the stuff that's happening. So July 1st is really crazy. So we just ask for people to complete their re-enrollment for Peaceful Worldschoolers and for PAX Academy before July 1st. Rhonda said, is there a list of online resources if we register with PAX Academy? So we don't have a list of all of the resources that's like publicly available, but we do show some of them on our website. Like I can show you as well. Hold on. So like if you look here, discounts, I believe it's on this page. Yeah, so we've got like discounts on all of these different kinds of things and I don't have all the other ones on here as well. I have to update this. I'm trying to say, if you're looking for like classes that we offer, so like I said, one of our dual enrollment partnerships is Arizona State University. So if you're interested in looking, here we go. In looking at the courses that your kids could take if they want to take advantage of our partnership with Arizona State, you can come here. Where is it? Nope, not this one. I want to see this one. Here we go. So for example, like these are all of the online courses that they offer. And let me show you these ones here so you can see when they start. I could see if I was right. All right. Okay. Oh, I was wrong. So August 19th. So for example, their next session starts August 19th. They do have some on-demand classes, which means if you choose an on-demand class through them, then you can start the class at any time and they give you a whole year to finish the class. You can go as fast or slow as you want. These classes are all like for college credit. So for example, instead of doing like an online biology class and just getting high school credit, you could do ASU's biology class, and then you're getting the college credit and the high school credit at the same time. So this is a huge advantage, especially for our teenagers that are college bound. They've got a bunch of different courses here, and I can share this link with you so you can see. I saw someone ask what would be a good one to take in like 8th grade. So this is actually a really good one that I think is great for 8th graders or like just for people that are wanting to try out a college course for the first time, but they're not quite sure yet where they want to go. This is a really great class to take because it's talking about career exploration, right? So this class is all about figuring out like, what is your passion? What do you want to pursue? What are the practical skills that you need to begin a career? So that's a really great course that I would highly recommend. You could see here, they've got a lot of like computer IT stuff, Excel. I'm trying to think. A lot of the gen ed classes as well, you can kind of get rid of. So for example, Com 100, this is a pretty standard required class for all college majors, regardless of where you go. They're probably going to want to have you take some sort of a communications class. The English ones here, English 101, English 102, these are also common. Like if you go to college, you will have to take English 101 and English 102. The question is, how much do you want to pay for it? And how long do you want it to take you? So this is something that you can finish it in 8 weeks. Like you take the course and you're done in 8 weeks. Yeah, I got some engineering classes here. So if your child's interested in engineering, you could do that. The health ones are another easy one. You have to take a high school health class, right? So rather than just taking a high school health class, why not take a college level health class? The difference between the two is not that much. It really is not that much. And so with this option, you can do the college credit and get the high school credit at the same time. Same thing like modern world history or global history. This is another required high school class. They have it here again as a college level class. So again, you could kind of like killing two birds with one stone by taking advantage of these. So I'll send this in the chat if you would like to kind of look at the other courses that they offer here. Melinda said, are the college classes for free? So it depends. It depends how you would like to do that. There are opportunities for students to be able to do college classes for free. I know we're over our time a little bit. I want to make sure I answer your questions. So there are opportunities for people to do college classes for free. Dual enrollment varies state by state. So in Maryland, unfortunately, they're not very nice to us as homeschoolers when it comes to like dual enrollment opportunities. So like if you wanted to do dual enrollment as a homeschooler in Maryland, I think we can get like a 25% discount maximum on the stuff, but the public school kids that do dual enrollment can do it for free. So that's kind of annoying. But there are other states, for example, like Florida, right? We are partnered with the University of South Florida, and Florida has a program that says that any students in Florida that are registered in a school like PAX Academy that has these partnerships with these universities, our students can take classes at that university for free. So if we have a student who lives in Florida and they want to take classes from the University of South Florida, they can do that for free. Another big thing about dual enrollment too is that, for example, if you're here in Maryland and you want to do dual enrollment here, in Maryland, you have to meet certain requirements. So for example, like you have to have a 3.5 GPA and for some schools, or you have to have a certain SAT score, or you have to have these certain requirements met in order to be able to take dual enrollment classes. And that's actually one of the reasons why I love our partnership with Arizona State University and also with Bottega University. Both of those universities, I chose to work with them in particular because I love the fact that they don't have those like barriers for students. They don't require you to have a certain GPA. They don't require you to meet any kind of special testing requirements in order to be able to take classes with them. So the differences between Bottega and Arizona State, the partnership that we have with Bottega is literally going to be one of the cheapest options that you'll have when it comes to dual enrollment. Our partnership with them, a partnership agreement with them is that for one class with Bottega University through PAX Academy, it costs only $300 for the class. Okay, so that's 3 credits for $300. And we also have an agreed maximum. So our agreed maximum with Bottega University is $1,100. So what that means is that the most that you will have to pay Bottega in a session is $1,100. You could literally take unlimited college classes for $1,100 and that's it. The other university that we have is Arizona State. And with Arizona State, the reason why I also chose to partner with them is because they offer a risk-free option that I really, really love. So with Arizona State, it only costs $25 to take a class through Arizona State. And then at the end of that class, let's say you finish taking the class with Arizona State and maybe you get a C in that class and you're like, you know what, I really don't want to have a C on my permanent college record. I don't want that to be there. then there's nothing else that you have to do. It's literally as if you never even took the class. So you just took the class and that's it. Now, let's say that you get to the end of the class, you pay the $25 to take the class, you finish the class and you get an A and you're like, oh my gosh, I did awesome in this class. I definitely want to have this be on my permanent college transcript. Then at that point, then you would pay $400 and they would administer you the college credit for that class. But I love the fact that it gives our students that freedom and flexibility to try a college class for $25, and then they can do it without that risk of like damaging their potential permanent record, if that makes sense. Like they can try it, and if it doesn't go well, then they can say, that, oops, I don't want that there. And it literally is like they never even took it. So they only have to actually pay the $400 for the course if they're satisfied with their grade and they actually want it to show up on their permanent record. And it's awesome opportunity for people who are like, maybe they didn't do so well in a high school level class, but they're wanting to try college, and especially college this way. They will have a professor, like an actual real college professor that has office hours. So they can meet with a real live person, a real live college professor, and talk with them and get help if they need to. But all of the classes are asynchronous. So that means that they're able to work independently. They can go as fast or as slow as they need to. But they also have that external ability from having external accountability from having a college professor that they can meet with if they need to and have that extra support if they need to. But again, it's not required. And then there are other places. So for example, in California, California has a dual enrollment program that is free for everyone. So yeah, if you live in California and you want to do dual enrollment at the community colleges in California, you can do that. But again, some of those in-person dual enrollment programs do require you to meet certain like GPA numbers or testing options to be able to participate in those.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Levine said, when should we submit all of the course and grade information for transcript purposes? I apologize if you covered this already. So this is something, no worries. This is something that we'll talk about at the very beginning. So when it comes to like submitting the course and the grade information, our first semester ends on January 31st. So if you can submit it before January 31st, that would be great. Second semester ends on May 31st. So if you can submit it before May 31st, that would also be great. Like I said, we're in the process of developing custom software. So I'm hoping that that will be ready before January 31st. Fingers crossed, toes crossed, arms crossed, that will be ready for you guys. And that will definitely help make the process of creating the transcripts be a lot more smooth for you. That is like my long-term vision. I want you guys to be able to have access to your child's permanent record at the click of a button. But again, we are a relatively new school. So this is something that we're really like building this from the ground up, and we're building it together with you. So if there are things that as you're like going through the year PAX Academy that you're like, man, I really wish that we could do this, or I really wish that we could have this, feel free to let me know, and I'll be happy to talk with our IT team and our software developers and see if they can integrate that for you. All right, any other questions?
I have one.
Yeah.
I heard you mention Bottega University in Arizona. Are there any other colleges you're in partnerships with?
We partnership with Bottega University, Arizona State University, and with the University of South Florida.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions?
Sorry, just one last final follow-up. With the Peaceful Worldschoolers, once we register for that, it will cover, do we have to submit any paperwork to like our counties, or it's already, you guys will cover that?
Yes, you do. So whenever you start homeschooling in Maryland, you have to fill out a form that's called a Notice of Intent to Homeschool form. Sashana, what county are you located in?
Howard County.
Okay, so I could show you. So usually what I recommend is that people just like Google Howard, helps if I type it right, Howard County Notice of Intent to Homeschool form. And here they have this is the homeschool notification. So this is the form that you would fill out for Howard County. Just has very basic information, first name, last name, date of birth, gender. If they attended a public school, you can put that there. And then here you can select option B. Actually, is this, hold on. Make sure this is the right one for, yep, okay, this is one for Maryland. I was like, this looks different. Okay, so yeah, you'll pick option B, and then you would put in here Peaceful World Schoolers, and then our address, and all of that comes in the, like after you enroll with us. So step one would be to do the registration with us, and then step two would be to fill out this form. The reason, and you could do them both the same day, but the reason for that is that actually we had a family that filled out this form and they told the county that they were enrolling with us, and then they never actually enrolled with us. And so when the county reached out to us and was like, hey, is this family enrolled with you? I was like, I don't know. I don't know who that is. And so then they had to go back to the county. It was like this whole big thing going back and forth. And it created some issues. So make sure that you enroll with us first so that when the county actually asks us like, hey, is Sashana and her kids, are they enrolled with Peaceful World Schoolers? We can look in our registration and say, yep, she registered with us on this date. She's good to go. You can leave her alone. Thank you for asking. So yeah, so make sure that you enroll with us first before you fill this out. So that way, when they come to us, we can say that we know who you are.
Gotcha. And that's every year annually, correct?
Nope, you only fill this out once. Yeah.
Okay.
So once you fill out this form, you fill it out once and you tell the county, we are not under you. We are under the supervision of Peaceful World Schoolers, and then you never have to talk to the county again. So after that, we deal with the county on your behalf because you're under our supervision. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Any other questions? All right, I know we're a little bit over our time, so I guess I will go ahead and wrap us up here, and I'll see if there are any questions. Also, I'm on TikTok here before my cell phone dies. We'll see if anyone has questions in TikTok, but I'll go ahead and drop in the chat here. Oops, Melinda said, if we're enrolled in Peaceful World Schoolers, do we still need to register for Peaceful World Schoolers? No, you just need to pick one or the other. So either you enroll in PAX Academy or you enroll in Peaceful World Schoolers. They're two different organizations, two different statuses. So Peaceful World Schoolers is homeschool status. PAX Academy is private school status. They're two separate things. Yes, yeah. So like I was saying, all of the Peaceful World Schoolers field trips are actually planned on behalf of PAX Academy. And so all of our field trips are technically PAX Academy field trips, but they're just in the Peaceful World Schoolers group. So yes, anyone who is in PAX Academy or Peaceful World Schoolers, and even people who are not enrolled in any of our organizations are welcome to participate. So if you have, friends and family that aren't enrolled in our umbrella, maybe you've got friends who aren't even homeschooling, you are more than welcome to invite them to participate in our field trips. For us, the more the merrier, because obviously the more people that can participate, then the greater our group discount is, which is awesome. So we are more than happy to have more people come and join us for the fun. Oh, my pleasure, Rhonda. Thank you for being here. All right, and then I just put in the chat the Peaceful World Schoolers registration, and then this is the link if you would like to register in PAX Academy. Like I said, if you want to make the switch, I know there are a couple of you that said you were in Peaceful World Schoolers and you wanted to switch. If you would like to upgrade to PAX Academy, you just need to enroll in PAX Academy before tomorrow. And then if you do that before tomorrow, then we will refund you what you paid for Peaceful World Schoolers, and you'll be able to start the year off with PAX Academy. Oh, thank you, Lauren. I wish I could enjoy my vacation. We were in the hospital yesterday, and then after I get out of here, we're going to be going back to the hospital. Sophia fell, and that's why she was coming and hopping over here and asking me, are we going to go to the doctor? I was like, yes. So yeah, I've been doing that, and it's been crazy busy, as you know, but I'm sure I will probably be working with you at 3 a.m. on something. But yeah. Yes, I will see you for our 3 a.m. work session. All right, any other questions? All right. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. I am so excited for your families and for all of the amazing things that you guys are going to accomplish over this next year. It is no easy decision to really decide to take control of your kids' education, but I promise you it is going to be the best decision that you could ever make for you and for your children. And just know that, for those of you who are new, It is okay to make changes. It is okay to not have it all figured out. You don't have to have it all figured out in order to start. It is going to be an incredible, incredible year, and just be open to all of like the ebbs and flows and the ups and downs that you're going to encounter over this year. I definitely recommend checking out the Exploring Unschooling podcast that was shared a little bit earlier. That was a huge help for me. And if you'd like to listen to my podcast as well, it's called the Peaceful Worldschoolers podcast. I think my podcast would also be a big help for you guys as well. Becky said, what is the question to ask ChatGPT? Which question? Oh, I can show you that. Okay. So for example, if you are, I can show you two different resources that you can use. So if you're trying to figure out how to put what your child has done, I think it's this one. Oh, dang it. Hold on. Learningcorner.co. I think this is it. Okay, here it is. Okay. So this is a website. It's called learningcorner.co. If you go to this website, they have this thing called Subject Explorer. And here it says you basically just like describe an activity. And so, for example, I will say like today, my children, what did they do today? My children played mini golf and went swimming at the pool and spent some time building Legos and playing Roblox, you know, whatever they did. All right. Then here you're going to pick an analysis format. You could either do bullet points or paragraphs, and then we'll pick an age. So we'll do 7. And then they're going to analyze this activity. It takes a second. All right, ta-da! All right, so we took all these things that my kids did today while we were on vacation. And you can see it broke it down into the different subject areas and talked about the different ways that those activities are integrated into the different subject areas. So talk about math, right? Developing spatial awareness, estimating angles and distances, measuring force and direction in mini golf. It introduces basic physics concepts related to motion and trajectory. Building Legos enhances understanding of shapes and symmetry and patterns, which is reinforcing geometry basics. Playing Roblox can involve problem solving that incorporates counting, sequencing, budgeting, in-game resources, all of those kinds of things. The physical education, science, language arts, creative and cognitive development. So they got all these other things here. Before they used to have this be free, but now I think, yeah, now they're going to make us pay for it. This used to be free. But yeah, they have like book recommendations. They have these learning standards. So these are like the Common Core standards that it's connected to. And then these are like kind of extension activities that you could do as well. So this is a great resource that you can use, but you can also do the exact same thing with ChatGPT. So ChatGPT, for those of you who don't know, this is artificial intelligence. I literally like use this for all the things. I love ChatGPT. It's so helpful. It is not perfect, definitely not perfect, but the more that you can kind of talk to it and interact with it, then the more we'll kind of learn what you want or what you need. So you could literally put anything in here like, today my child decided to cook tacos from Mexico for lunch. Can you help me turn this into, you can do like Common Core standards or create learning objectives for my homeschool portfolio, for example. Just as an example, right? And so here, they've got the Common Core standards, they've got some learning objectives, all this stuff. So basically ChatGPT kind of like helps you take what your kids have done in real life and it turns it into like what I like to call teacher speak. So basically this is like the academic language that you would want to see, right? They're learning about science and social studies, world cultures, math, English language arts, you know, and we have the standards that are here available for you. Yeah, and so here's like a portfolio summary covering like the standards that are met. So this is just, again, an example. You can literally do this with any activity at all. Like ask ChatGPT to do anything that you want it to do and it will create it for you. If you want to say like My child loves Pompeii. Create a scope and create a scope and sequence with lesson plans and objectives for a 5th grade history class involving Pompeii for my unschooler. Whatever you like it to be. So the scope and sequence is kind of like the overall thing that teachers are looking for. I know there are some counties or some states that like want parents to submit a curriculum. You can ask it to create a curriculum and it will like create whatever it is that you need it to create. Yeah, so that's basically it. You could take anything like, provide me with resources to help encourage her learning, give me YouTube videos, documentaries, websites, books, etc. Whatever it is that you want, ask it. Here's videos. Like if I want to help my child dive deep into these interests that they have, we've got videos here, documentaries just like I asked for, websites already like hyperlinked for me. I can just do it. Here's books. All this stuff. So ChatGPT is definitely a game changer for us homeschooling parents. Can real life things be applied to a transcript? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, literally, that's what I was saying. This is the beauty of PAX Academy. This is the genius of PAX Academy, is that anything that your child does, literally anything at all that your child does in real life can be converted into academic credit. The trick is learning how to convert it into academic credit, right? So like if you were to say, my child played mini golf, that doesn't sound very academic, right? But if you say that my child was practicing estimating angles and practicing comparing force and velocity, right? They're doing all of those things while they're playing mini golf, but that's the academic piece, right? That's the language of academics that makes the difference, kind of a thing. And that's a big part of like what I do, because again, as a teacher, like I have a lot of the academic language knowledge already. I could literally turn anything into teacher speak, but ChatGPT does it way faster than I can. So take advantage of ChatGPT, literally type in any activity that your children do or can do or have done and ask it like, what are the school subjects that are covered in this? What are the learning objectives that are covered in this activity? What are the Common Core standards that are involved in this activity? And have ChatGPT do the work for you. Yeah, great question. All right. Hello, everybody here on TikTok. All right, so thank you guys so much for being with me tonight here on the Zoom. I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your Wednesday evening to come and hang out with me and talk about education and homeschooling and unschooling, one of my favorite topics to talk about ever. It has been such a pleasure to hang out with you guys, and I know there's a lot of Marylanders here, so I hope I'll get to meet some of you soon at some of our not back to school parties and picnics and potlucks that are coming up in the first week of September. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to be sending out an email hopefully by the end of this week that will have more information about all of those not back to school events that are coming up soon so that you can register for as many of them as you feel happy about. So yeah, I look forward to meeting you guys soon. I'm going to go ahead and stay out here for a second answering questions from people that are on TikTok. Hi, everyone on TikTok. Yeah, so if you guys have questions, feel free to let me know. All right. Oh, hey, Alicia, thank you for helping moderate and answer the questions in the TikTok live. I appreciate that. Alicia, are you still here? All right, I see someone said, is PAX Academy with a curriculum, or are they free to learn what they want? Yes, they are free to learn whatever they want, however they want, whenever they want, wherever they want, however they want. Yes, your children are free to learn about whatever brings them joy, and we want them to do that, right? We want our children to invest their time and their effort and their energy into learning things that matter to them. As a former public school teacher myself, it does not make sense to me to try to force kids to learn stuff that they do not have a passion for and that they do not have a purpose for. That just makes zero sense in my brain. So yes, we want your children to be learning about the things that bring them joy and the things that they are passionate about and whatever it is that they are interested in devoting their time and effort and energy to. And we recognize that that's going to be different for everyone, right? The things that your child is going to be interested in are different than the things that my child is going to be interested in, and that's okay. They don't all have to be the same thing. All right. Any other questions? All right, let me see here what the questions are. Can I ask about the re-enrollment? Sure. What is your question about re-enrollment? Hi, Anna. Hi, Alicia. All right, I'm going to stop the recording here. All right, thanks, guys.